Hi guys, welcome to Tempo Capsules. I'm here today with Naya Rajji. She has a streetwear brand that she's going to talk to us all about today. It's called 12 Rebels. Welcome Naya. How are you today?
Hi, Lynn. Thank you for inviting me. I'm good. And you?
I'm very good, thank you. So we're going to dig deep into everything today. Naya's my best friend, so we already know her. We're going to get into everything about our past together, our friendship, her arts journey. I remember the first time when we were like 10 years old, we were in my garden
Yeah.
and we just started graffitiing all over the
Right.
walls. And that was
That
the
was
first
me like
time.
becoming, lashing out everything I had.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you get into art? When was the first time you picked up a pencil?
I can't remember. Like, I was so young. I got enrolled in drawing classes. It was just pencil on paper. And then I went into paint on canvas, but that was never enough for me.
Okay.
And then I remember all of the arts were always something very interesting to me. Like I started picking up piano, and then I stayed, and I still play today. So everything that's artsy is something like it's passion for me. I can't remember the first time I started drawing, but I've never stopped since then.
Who is your inspiration? Was there anyone that specifically inspired you that you look up to as an artist?
So basically, as an artist, I've never had one inspiration that's constant. Art is always moving. So, in different phases of my life, I've been inspired by different people, whether it's my art teacher, my piano teacher, etc.,
Wow.
which are people that I can look up to and get advice from. I've never really got inspired by bigger people. I feel like it's too far from me. But in the same time, the image of long term, yes, sometimes.
That's such an interesting point to make, that bigger artists feel so far away from you, and it's the people around you that grew that interest in you. Why specifically? Like, why your piano teacher? Why your art teacher? What about them
Being
inspired
so
you?
close to them actually, and being able to get advice from them, and them talking to you directly, seeing your work, and then you see their work. Like if you're drawing and you make a mistake, who's going to fix it for you? It's your art teacher, and you're like, wow, I want to become that. Looking at someone through media, like a big artist on a stage or whatever, is way harder for me to feel that I can become like them, or it's harder to imagine yourself to be there.
Is that something you're afraid people will feel if you ever become a big artist in the future?
No, because I know that everyone looks up to like big artists. I think that I'm a bit different in that way. Like I don't know like many musicians, artists, although I love the arts. I know people from my community more.
How are you going to stay in touch with your fans in the future? How are you going to make sure they're still connecting to your art? You're still connecting to them as well, because being on a bigger platform, being surrounded by those type of people later might create a type of disconnect with people
I
you
agree,
might want
and
to keep.
true. That's a very interesting question. For now, it's easy. I've had pop ups, I've met our clients. Because we're in Dubai, I go somewhere and I meet the same people because it's a community, right? And I would love to always have that community, whether it's online, through pop ups, going to places, and social media today connects people already. You don't need to meet them in person.
Yeah,
Sharing their stories and them sharing the story of the brand.
yeah, that's true. Was there like a specific pop-up that was your favorite one you attended, or any person you've wanted to collab with that you got to collab with? I saw Richie collab, for example.
Yes, so basically the latest pop-up was our biggest, so it was the best one yet. It's called Bread in Abu Dhabi. It's all about streetwear, and it's an art festival where even the singers that were on stage were like underground hip hop artists that are not very known. Maybe only one or two were more famous, but not mainstream, which I love. So people get to experiment and learn about these small artists. Similarly, in the retail side where I was, there was all emerging brands, and getting to network with these people, like whether you go and meet other founders of small brands which also are bigger than me, so you look up to them, but you get to see like there might be areas of collaboration, because some of them are more focused on like hip hop genre, or streetwear, or more like luxury, where you can see, and even we saw people collaborating there, which was really cool. There was a collab between Absent Minds, which is a luxury brand, and the same time Crude, which is more street, Arabic street, and the collab was so cool, and I would love to do something like that in the future. Otherwise, some people came by like hip hop dancers, and they're like,
Yeah.
we want to collab, wear your clothes, or Be Hype in Dubai Mall.
Yeah.
And also they have an Alco's. I met the founder back then when we collabed with Risha, and we met him again at Bread. They had a big booth, and inshallah, yani, we talked about future collaborations.
That's really cool. You
Mm-hmm.
talk a lot about the Arabic side of the industry, the Oriental side to art that's really underground. The Western media never talks about. What is it about that specific side that really attracts you or that you think people should hear about?
I think it's all because it's where I'm brought up from. I'm Lebanese. I've lived in Lebanon, and it's known that it's my favorite country. And no matter where I have lived, I have traveled a lot, lived in many places in Europe, in the Middle East. My heart belongs in Lebanon, and I see that why it's interesting to me, that small country with a very small demographic, is that so much comes out of there, so many creatives, so much character, so much art. It's one of the very unique cities where if you walk in a street and tomorrow you walk in the same street, it looks different already. Not
How? Like for people who don't know, might not know what Lebanon is or what that type of vibe you're talking about, like difference are. Could you explain to them?
Yes, so basically, first of all, the people that are in the street, there's every time something, a party, a fight, some public display of something.
Some type of rebellion.
Yes, some type of rebellion, always. Sometimes you'll see the walls have changed. Sometimes there's graffiti here or new posters, new event. Some day maybe there's music blasting from a bar. Another day one has shut down, or I don't know. Like there's always something that has changed in the nature and people in the street itself, which I love, and it's so inspiring. Like you can walk the same street and it's always different, and I get inspiration from there. I met artists from Lebanon, whether they're underground DJs or musicians. And what I noticed is that we all have that thing in common where we need to go back to Lebanon to get inspiration. But again, Lebanon is not the best in terms of stability for anyone, whether you're an artist, whether you're working. So everyone goes back to, like, let us say here in the Middle East, in the UAE, or to Europe, where you have stability to produce your music or your art. But then you need to go back to Lebanon, get inspiration, and come back.
Do you think that's a central theme with all artists? They need the chaos, they need the rebellion, they need the, I don't know when I'm gonna die because of the situation in the country, to push you to create all that art and that creates that creativity within you?
I think that's a very strong point, of course. I mean, that, of course, is a source of inspiration. The fact that you have so much instability, you don't know what's happening tomorrow, it creates that fear. But in the same time, fear is what brings you to lash all your art out. Like, one thing we say for the brand is that rebel against your fears, against your mind. So whatever you have your fears, you have to put them out in an art form in some way. So I do believe that a lot of people do that. Many artists do that, especially when I talked to them and got to, understand more. They all had that same idea where, let us say, DJs, they don't know when the electricity will cut off. How will they produce their music? So there's always that rush, that fear, but also sometimes it turns into numbness when you're constantly in this situation. So that's also something you should think about.
We've talked a lot about other artists. Now let's talk about your personal journey. How did you start this brand, 12 Rebels? How did you move into streetwear, specifically get into the urban culture? What is it about urban culture that inspired you?
So as I told you, I first started drawing on pencil, on canvas, but that was never enough for me. When I discovered graffiti, it was basically, I realized that it's such a unique art, and that actually fulfilled me more than any other type of art. Why? Because I realized that small communities like us in Lebanon, let us say, we're small minorities, and you get to display your art in a public space for no one to buy, and in such a big area that it's for everyone to see. And I think that I've always wanted my art to be on the spotlight. Like whether I used to play piano, I wanted to play in public. Whether a lot of other people who are talented, like for example, who sing, are shy to sing in public. But what is art if it's not to be shared, So I found that graffiti and the way it's shared to people, it's not displayed in a gallery where rich people get to buy poor people's art. It's something made by minority people who have a voice, and they can't express it otherwise. They have to put it on walls publicly, and maybe it will be removed, but at least people saw it, and it's very rebellious, I find. So that's how I started. I got very interested in graffiti. Through that, I think it's very social. It's a social art, it's political art, you know. You see Banksy, for example. um, I'm not that political, but I love that idea.
Okay. You could be
And
more humanitarian. That's
right.
kind of also another thing that people talk about through
Of
art.
course, of course. For example, in Lebanon, there's a Yusuf Atallah. He's a graffiti artist, and he's always drawing plants everywhere. Everywhere, like a wall that looks like it should have more greenery, because there's no greenery sometimes in the city.
Yeah.
He's drawing plants everywhere, coming out of windows, etc. So it's really cool to see, and he mixes that with his social activism for, you know, sustainability or ecology, and basically when I discovered graffiti, I felt like that was rebellious, because I'm a girl, I'm 13 years old, I'm a princess at home, you know, I'm shy. Everyone like treats me like an angel, but then I do graffiti. So I thought that that was something that called to me, and that was a contrast, and that was what made me a bit unique. I think that's how I felt. And then I started trying graffiti styles. I had courses. I'm still in contact with my teacher. He sees my posts today. He's really proud of me. And I started then thinking about social stuff like sustainability, which was very trending at the time, you know?
Okay.
It still
So
is.
would you say it's because it was trending, or because that's a cause you really
I was
are for?
really, really into it, by the way. Like at school, I remember I wanted to do sustainable stuff,
Yeah,
recycling.
you're the president of the
Yeah. So I was thinking
environment.
about that cause a lot at the time. I remember I was like fully on like sustainability, you know. That's when media started, Instagram and everything, and people started posting. And there was that girl, she used to do protests. What's her name?
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, and I was so
Yeah.
inspired by her, you know, like someone young but has a voice. So what I did is that was the time where everyone used to buy Stan Smith, that Adidas shoes,
Yeah.
and once it gets ruined, you'll buy another one, the same pair of shoes, and that was so like unsustainable,
Yeah,
right?
everyone has that pair of shoes that they rewear
Yeah.
every day, and then they just go and they buy the same one
The
again.
same one again and again. So I was like, why are you doing that? Just let us upcycle, or like in a way recycle your shoes to rewear them. And that was a sustainable practice that I started with. I started drawing on my shoes in a way to make them wearable again, because my mom would not let me wear that pair of shoe anymore. She's like, Naya, you have to throw these
Yeah.
and get a new one.
Especially if you have an Arab mom, you know how
You know,
serious moms are about your shoes
exactly,
being dirty or
exactly.
broken.
100%. So that's what I did. I draw on my shoe, I go to school, and then boom, like 10 people come to me and they're like, we want the same, we want the same. My cousins, my family, my friends. So that's how I started drawing on shoes. But like it was always graffiti style, street style. And back then, trust me, no one used to do this. Today, if you walk Adidas, Nike, everyone has that customization service.
Yeah, they do. You
They
can
do.
even see it outside the store. There's a guy always painting people's shoes
Yeah.
for them.
Right. And I think that way I was also always, I don't like to say a trendsetter, but I always, yeah, I always saw trends ahead of time. At least that's how I feel, you know? And okay, I was young at the time. I couldn't do anything about it. I wasn't going to come like, hey, mom, I'm going to open my business, right? So I continued that way, and I did a bit of graffiti. Then I came to Dubai. I started painting on jackets for people or customized skateboards, etc. I thought skateboards were cool because it's very street, you know? It has that edge to it. And after that, I went to Paris. I did my bachelor's in economics.
Okay.
And that's when I was done with that, I went back to Lebanon, 5 months, inspiration. But there, it was July 2023, I founded the brand. I got 12 Rebels out officially, let us say.
So why 12 rebels?
Basically, it's about rebellion, which we talked about. Like, It's about rebellion in terms of social change, like we said, because graffiti comes from that minority trying to. It's vandalism, but I don't want to say it's because vandalism, for example, is a word that a lot of people say it
Use against
negatively.
graffiti, yeah.
Yeah, like negatively, but for me, it's not. It's not vandalism. It's graffiti.
It's an art.
It's an art form. It's something
Why?
positive.
For people, because it's a big debate around graffiti. Is it
Exactly.
vandalism? Is it artwork? Where should we limit the amount or places that people can do it or not? What's your opinion on that
It's
as a graffiti artist?
it's 100%. It depends. I mean, It's for me. I don't want to see it as vandalism. Honestly, I really appreciate art, no matter what you've done. Like, I stand with the graffiti artists. Of course, that might be a bit extreme for people to see. Like, you always have to be in the middle. But there is why I created rebellion as a word, where there's gonna be a debate around it. Rebellion can be seen like very negatively, but for me, I'm trying to turn it into a positive word, like rebel for a cause, and the cause should be positive. And why did I come up with it? As myself, I saw myself as a rebel because I started graffiti, right? But that's something positive. And again, I want other people to be rebels. People who will wear the brand will be rebels, like whether it's an artist that had his story and then he's a rebel. What's his form of rebellion? It's doing music, let us say. So this is where it comes from.
Let's talk about your artwork specifically. I've seen you do a lot of art pieces about Fairuz, for example, who's a very important symbol in music in Lebanon. Why specifically her? And what about that inspired you to draw on those t-shirts in that way?
Yeah, so basically what we do at 12 Rebels, since it transitions from drawing on shoes and jackets, etc., we experimented and we found that airbrushing is a technique that can work best on cotton shirts, which are the type of shirts that everyone is wearing today in terms of streetwear. These loose T-shirts, and then you have an art something printed on it. What we wanted to do is to have every piece as a one-off and very unique, because I believe that rebels today and artists don't find what they want to wear in the market. Like DJs, they love to wear cool shirts, but where do they find them? So this is what the brand wanted to be, like, and wants to be. We want to cater to that type of people, to find a unique piece for them.
Okay.
Therefore, we started airbrushing on shirts, and each piece is unique. For example, the Fairuz one is very popular right now. It's the most popular, actually, and I've made 3 of them, although I promised that each piece should be unique. So we try to change a bit in the portrait or the colors, etc. Why Fairuz? She's such an icon in our world, and it's nice to see how one person coming from that small country is renowned worldwide, and that's also one thing that, inspires me.
Are there any pieces you've drawn from personal experiences? You put your feelings into your art? What
Yeah,
inspires you?
yeah. The first one I did is a huge spider. It might seem like not such a nice story, but it's a huge spider on a shirt, and people love it. They're like, "Whoa!" And it looks like 3D. And that all came from a fear of spiders.
No.
Yeah, I used to live in Paris. There's spiders everywhere in my apartment, and I used to hide in the bathroom the whole night just because there's a small, tiny spider in my, bedroom. So after that, I was like, rebel against your fears. Draw a huge spider on a shirt, wear it confidently. And after that, poof, I'm not scared of spiders anymore.
That's a beautiful way of putting it out there. Face your fear, guys, and become a rebel. Okay, let's talk more about your personal life. So, what's going on in your life right now? Are you working more on your brand? Do you have another job that you're working on? What are your plans? Are you dating anyone? Let's start. Okay, I'm putting way too many questions in here. Let's start first with what are you doing right now? Are you working just on your brand or on other stuff as well?
So right now, I'm in a transition phase. So
Okay.
basically, I was working for 2 years in a startup. It was a technology company, software. I was in sales, which I love. Client-facing role. 2 years later, like literally last week, I resigned. So why? Because 12 Rebels doing well, and at the same time, I need a break in my career to really see where I want to be later and know, like, do I want to continue in this industry, or do I want to transition to a more creative role, right? Although I learned a lot in these 2 years a lot about sales and account management and networking and public speaking and everything. So I really loved doing sales, and I think this is something that also helped me learn about the brand itself.
What
Like,
about it?
for example, I realized that being in the sales role today, I know how customers also feel talking to a salesperson. So
Okay.
today, as a customer to my suppliers, I know how to negotiate. I know how to get what I want. I used to be the shyest person ever, and imagine I'm telling you, like,
You were
I'm
never
in
a
sales.
shy person. I've known you my whole life. You were never a
I
shy
was, I
person to
was,
me.
I was.
How?
Wallah, ask my parents, ask your mom even, she knows.
Shy person in front of who? Like friends? Socially around friends? I never felt
No,
like you
if
were
we were
shy.
best friends, of course, you would have never felt that. But I would talk to no one, like no one.
I
Even
really don't
family members,
remember
if it
that.
wasn't my grandma or my parents, I wouldn't talk to them. I was so shy, but I worked on it so much.
Okay, well, for a lot of people like a lot of people struggle with shyness or don't feel confident in themselves talking to people. How did you overcome that?
It was small efforts every day. It
Like
was
what?
thanks to my dad. Like, he used to tell me, every time you do something very small that's overcoming your shyness, you'll get like, it's just a point for you, you know, for yourself. And because he made it about myself, it's not a gift, it's not ice cream, it's just something for me. I actually worked on it. He's like, today, for example, you're gonna go say hi to this person you don't know.
Okay.
And that was a small thing, but I did it. Tomorrow you're gonna ask for ketchup at the restaurant yourself, you know? And that small steps every day made me what I am today, able to, you know, overcome it completely. But always also it was the fear of missing out on things just because you're shy.
You're shy. And what did you feel internally when you were shy? What made you not want to ask? What were those emotions you felt? Or
I
was there
don't
a
know, they're
reason?
horrible emotions. I have no idea where it came from. I was like this since I was born. Like, my parents told me, it was since you're young, you're very shy. But I knew that it was a huge fear that overcomes you. No, like, I don't know why. It was super, it was there all the time.
Okay.
But working on it, it was the best thing I've ever done, you know?
How did you feel coming out of it?
Amazing, like being able, like, let us say, to tell the teacher, yeah, I'm gonna be the first one presenting the assignment we had, was it was relieving, you know.
How do you think that transition from being a shy person to a confident person or outspoken person helped you with your career or to be able to build your brand more?
I think it helps with everything, not only your career. I mean, socially, you make friends, you network. Today, the fact that I'm able, because I'm not shy and I'm confident, that I'm able to go somewhere by myself, let's say a bar, a restaurant, a party, by myself, and be confident enough to talk to people, got me where I am. I would have never gotten collaboration, pop-ups. Networking is everything, and being able to talk to anyone is, I think, the most valuable thing you as or skill you can have. I see a lot of people being shy today, although they don't show. It doesn't seem like they're shy, but I know they're shy because they're scared to go to that place and talk to these people, and that's all about missing out.
What would you tell them? How would you help them overcome their fear? Those people who maybe have a business or want to start a podcast or want to be a singer on stage or a DJ, but they're too scared to share their art or they'll be judged, especially as an artist, because you pour so much of your deep and maybe private emotions into your art. What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
I'm not sure because it's not for everyone. I mean, not everyone can become maybe everyone is an artist, but not everyone is a known artist or has art that is shared. A lot of people have hidden talents or hidden art. That's them. You can't really, I don't believe you can change people. If they want to be this person and they want to be in the spotlight and they want to share their art, they would have done it.
But
Like
you
I did.
changed, like your shyness specifically. There
Yeah,
has to be
I
some advice you
progressed.
can give
I
them.
mean, because that's something I always wanted. And when you want something, you'll get it, you know? Okay, because my dad advised me a bit. I think it's all about will. There's a lot of things my dad tells me, I don't do it.
Yeah, of course.
So I would tell them, of course, and I do today, tell people, you know, go out there, do it. Sometimes you see they get better because the people you surround yourself with also is some, you know, like it affects you a lot.
Okay.
So I have some people around me that, let us say, they are a bit shy, they don't do that step. And by sitting with them for a long time and talking about how I do things, of course, I see them months later, they have improved a bit. And maybe that's their path they're taking, and maybe they'll become something. But some people I sit with, they inspire me, and maybe I'm taking that path thanks to them.
Yeah, of course. Okay, since you're just beginning now, I just want to ask, where do you see yourself in 10 years? If you could look back at this video in 10 years, where would you want to see, where do you want to see the growth from? Where do you want to see your company arrive to?
I know that I've always had that vision. So basically, the company I registered it as 12 cities, not 12 rebels. The first brand of 12 cities is 12 rebels, which is the streetwear brand. Later on, we might branch into, I don't know, like posters or something about cute dresses, you know, accessories, bags. But I know that maybe in 10 years, hopefully less, it would be furniture, interior, not interior design, pieces like, let's say, a very cool couch with the graffiti on it, modern but vintage at the same time. Like, that's a vision I can't really put on paper or words or image right now, but it's always been a vision I had, like pieces that are super unique but super cool, that are meant to be put in like huge apartments, houses, or venues, you know.
Is there a dream person that you'd want to collab with, or a company that you'd want to collab with in the future would be like, yes, I've reached my goal because I collaborated with this person?
Of course, there has been a lot that passed through my mind, but right now it's blank.
There's
I
not
don't
one
know.
specific person. Is there a place you'd want to showcase your art, a country, for example, a city, like maybe New York or in Beirut, have a big canvas out there?
Very soon, I hope I want to do something in Beirut or even in Lebanon in general, wherever that might be. So my plan next week, in 2 weeks, is to go to find where I'm gonna have my next pop-up in Lebanon. Hopefully, something in June. I don't know. And then that's how easy Lebanon is. Wallah, networking with people is so nice there. Everyone will help you. But I would want to have something in Paris in the future, since I already have a base of people I know. And second of all, I've lived there and love how artsy it is. So basically, there's a building that's called Maison d'Artiste or something like that. It's, I
Go on.
think, the building number 51 or something, for 49. Basically, you go in, it's like 3 to 4 floors, and it's full of artists who are invited to be there for like a month, as if they're renting the floor or the small space, and they just do art there. And it's open to the public. You can always go in and see what they're doing, buy their art, or just meet the artists themselves. And there's everything from embroidery to painters to, I don't know, poets. It's lovely. I go there almost every month, and they're switching around, you know, or the artist himself has branched into another thing, or they change the artist. So that would be a really cool place to be. And I've really been thinking about, you know, like these artist retreats, because one struggle that I have right now is to really find my DNA in terms of artists. You know, when you see like a piece from Basquiat, you know, it's Basquiat. He's a very famous painter. Basically, he's also has a lot of I don't know if it's political behind his art, but he's a painter and has that abstract but not very abstract kind of art. It's a bit of modern art, but not. It's really cool pieces, and it has like some violence inside as well. A lot of energy comes from his pieces, and you know it's him. He has a standard. He has a, like, if you see Banksy, you know it's Banksy. If you see anyone, you know they have that code or they have that DNA, and this is something I don't have. I'm still experimenting. And I think that having a place to be like a studio surrounded by artists in a nature or something would really help me
Will
develop
inspire
that.
you. Yeah, of course. What are other struggles you think you're struggling with as an upcoming artist, maybe in the industry, from the business side or from the artistic point of view, as a woman even?
The first one, in an artistic point of view, is the one I just mentioned, finding my style, my personal style. Because I've always been like excited about something for a week or a month, and then I would change and change and change. So, but I need to sit and actually practice. So I think that leaving my job right now was a good decision, and going to Lebanon for a full month, I think I'll just sit in the basement somewhere and just draw and find myself. From a business point of view, it's so difficult. Like, I've never knew how much money is important until now. I used to be that kid that's always spending my dad's money or whatever, and now I see, like, since I started earning my own salary, I just looked back after a few months. I'm like, poof, where's my money? Like, I really do spend a lot of money, and then that's when I started noticing that it's everything, you know. And there's a lot of opportunities you want to do. Like, let us say I want to do a crazy photo shoot for the brand or video.
You need money for
I
it.
need a lot of money for it if I want it to be as per what my vision is.
Yeah, of course.
Should you get an investor? When? How much? Even small things, like, let us say I want to produce 20 pieces of this specific shirt. Should I spend money on it? Is it worth it? Will it sell? So these are a lot of things as someone completely new as a business, like starting a business, you don't know about. There's no education about it in school. And even though I studied economics, nothing.
Yeah. But would you say a degree in economics would help as much as a degree in business would have helped, for example? Like, what is, for people who haven't studied economics, how did an economics course help you and how did it not help you?
It helped me because I got lots of logic out of it. It's very theoretical. It's a lot about the world's economy. It's very macro. It doesn't go back to you building your business. One course that I had was called Lean Startup for one of the years, which I enrolled in. It wasn't. It was optional, and it was the best course I've ever taken in my life. And I'm still in contact again with the teacher.
What did it teach you that helped you with your business today?
Crazy, everything. It teaches you from the basics. Who's your customer? First question, who's your customer?
Okay.
Yani, who's your competitor? Yani, it's things like that, like basic things that you need to engrave them in your mind. Always, like, who's your customer? The person who pays. Some people will get confused about that.
A lot of people say you shouldn't look at what your customer, especially as an artist, is telling you, because you don't want to feel you don't want to take in their opinion way too much and lose yourself in other people's opinion. As no, I look at all the comments I get and I look at all the opinions I get. What's your opinion on that?
This is one thing I struggled with a bit as well. You know, I was thinking, should I do something for everyone or something more niche? Will it sell if it's for everyone, or will it sell more if it's niche? It's something still I am experimenting, but as per my experience, like, I produced one piece just because it was very trendy and not niche at all, which everyone would wear. It's the piece that sold the less because I was not connected to it. It's not speaking to me. It's not for my brand.
What was that piece?
I will not say.
Okay.
I'll show you later.
You tell me off camera. Okay. What about specifically as a woman? How did you find navigating that in your field?
It's crazy to see that still in fashion we're a minority.
Yeah, that's surprising. Specifically in fashion, you would think, like, if you think in terms of university degree, you would think more women would go towards fashion, but to find that in the actual field.
In the real life, no, it's crazy. Like, first of all, in my job as a salesperson in a tech company, I realized that we're in a man's world. That's my first realization.
Why? What specifically? Because a lot of people today believe that no, women have their equal rights. They get to vote. They get to.
Of course, they have
Where
rights.
does the actual modern difference between how you treat women and men come up?
It's about small acts, like you sit with a man on a table. I go to sell him something. It's a 50-year-old, let us say. I'm sitting in front of him, I'm trying to sell him something. Okay, Naya, you are a smart girl. Okay, I understand what you mean. Poof, nothing out of it. I will go tell my colleague who's a guy, go sell him this. He sells it. Okay, maybe not, or I don't know. Sometimes they will take things from men more seriously. They'll think, okay, you're a girl. Maybe also
you
it's
feel
my
like
age.
They talk down on you a lot because of your age.
Alhamdulillah, I didn't get any very bad experience. However, in your everyday life, you can you can feel it. Sometimes, honestly, I'm at the table because I am strong. I don't like to show people like I'm a young girl.
Of
I will
course. And you
talk.
can't, as a
I will
businesswoman, you really
go.
can't do
Wallah,
that.
in my experience of 2 years, I went. I met CEO, big companies, multinational. I sat with their CEO, and in front of everyone, he would like say good things about me in front of my boss, in front of our CEO. Like you have to have character. But in the same time, in the same room with the same people, there was this girl, for example, because she's closed on herself, she's shy, people will not ignore her completely, and that hurts. I look at her and know why everyone's ignoring her. They will not say hello, they will not say goodbye to her, they will not say thank you. A lot of things like in everyday acts or behaviors will make you feel more down as a woman. However, you need to keep on pushing and try to show yourself. And
Yeah.
in the fashion industry, I was so shocked. Like, for example, when we were at Bread, all the small retails, the owners are there because it's a small brand.
Hmm.
I was the only girl with a brand.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Everyone were men. However, that played a bit in my favor. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Because you
men
feel
will
like,
come, they will see, okay, there's a girl here selling us, they will
okay.
talk to us, try to flirt maybe, which I hate. Yani, I'm here to sell you something, don't flirt with me. Bye, okay? But,
At the same time, a lot of people think you could use that to your advantage. Like, if you're
right.
going to treat me this way, I might as well use it to make money out
That's,
of it.
yes, but that's also has a double-edged sword.
Swords, yeah.
It's very like sometimes you're like, okay, good, but in the same time it's annoying, or you're like, do they like my art, or do they like me? A lot of times, one of the annoying thing about being in a man's world in this industry, the fashion industry and the underground, where you have to network with people at clubs or bars, is also other founders or artists or managements. They want to collab, but they start talking to you and you don't know, do they want business, or do they want to flirt with me? And
But
that's
does that
very annoying.
matter?
It
At the
does.
end, if you get the business, does that matter to you how you got it?
Of-
I'm
yeah,
not advocating, I'm just asking.
yes, but I don't think you'll ever get it if he's just flirting with you. I've had experiences, trust me. I got excited. I thought this guy, for example, wanted to collab with me. Turns out he's just interested.
Well,
And
how can you mitigate
never.
that? How do
I
you, what do
don't
you
know.
try to do?
I'm
You
still
don't know.
learning. You have to, whatever you do, there's always gonna
I
be
know.
men
If
like that.
anyone knows, maybe comment down below on
Let us
how we
know,
can
please.
fight this. um, okay, we were talking about men flirting with you in an inappropriate way. Are there men flirting with you in a non-inappropriate way that you'd like? Is there a man in your life
I wish.
right now? Are you single looking or too busy with your business right now?
um, I was. I've been single for like 3 years, I think. I was always hopping like from relationship to relationship,
Okay.
and I never thought that I would be able to be alone
Okay.
until I did it. And right now, I was looking so much for someone. I want someone, but no one's attracting me. But right now, okay, I told you officially I started the business in 2023, but really actively 2025 January. It's been like 4 or 5 months. So since then, I haven't been thinking about men at all. So it's all about me and my self-development, my brand's development, etc.
There are a lot of women and men out there that find it so hard to not be in relationships. They'll be in relationships where they're not happy, or not necessarily not happy, but they're just like, oh, I'm fine with this. Like, this is all right, but I don't know if he's the one for me. But it's so hard for them to leave. And you were talking about how you're always in the relationship until to the point where you got to a point where you're like, I'm just going to be alone. How did you get out of that?
It's exactly how you get out of friendships that were toxic for so long. I think it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of strength, because sometimes you don't want to leave that thing. But whenever you're in some place and you're stuck in this place, you're missing out on a lot of better things. And this is one thing I did with the job, which I left after 2 years, and I have no plans. Like, I didn't find another job to leave this job, but I knew that if I would stay, I'm missing out on a lot of better things. So you have to think about it that way. Of course, it's not easy. You have to be strong, and you'll do it, for sure, Yani. Do it.
If you could describe yourself in 3 words that you would want to, that are the core values that you hold, that you want to look back in time and be like, yes, I'm still that person, what would those three things be?
I think generous,
Okay.
joyful, like optimistic, and rebellious.
And just to end the podcast, it's kind of a similar question to the last one, but more specifically, what do you want to tell yourself in 10 years from now?
What I want to tell myself is that stay strong, like become the woman you want to become, and not to always listen to other people's opinions, especially I think older generation which you look up to and you're close to, and they're not close-minded, but because they come from the older generation, they might not understand what we're trying to do here. They will advise you to their best abilities, but not everything they say is right. So do whatever you think, because throughout my life I've realized until this point that every time I do something spontaneously, it works from my mind. Every time I listen to someone, it doesn't work. So do that.
So just be yourself.
Be yourself. Follow your instinct.
Of
Really.
course. And stay true to your brand.
Yes.
Thank you, Naya, for joining us today. And guys, go check out her brand at 12rebels.com. And where can they find you, Naya, on social media?
They can find us at 12 Rebels on Instagram and on TikTok as well. كتير حلو. والله كتير شاطرة. You really impressed me, by the way.